Hey guys, welcome back to Become a God. This week has been ups and downs so far. We did alright with the blue-green jump, but it wasn't really making any progress for us. So now I've gone to the dark side. It's time to rush, guys. We're going to get those quick games, quick stars. We're going to take Red Rush. Pretty standard list, nothing out of the ordinary. And see if we can climb the ladder, try and get to rank 1 at least in this episode. And for next week, I can set up my path to God rank. Let's get into the matches, see how I do. Alright guys, game number 1. What a fantastic hand. Queen's Guard into Gift of Steel with the Axe Grinder to follow up as another play. We're just going to keep it. I'd like to dig for Imperial Drain, but this hand is just so good that it will just let me go mounting, Queen's Guard. And then I have Gift of Steel on the follow-up play. And the Water Elemental coming down. Now, a little dangerous simply because of Aurora, but also because of Frogify. So we are going to wait. We're just gonna chill. Because then I can Flame Burst this Water Elemental and set up the Queen's Guard. Hopefully in a safe position. It depends if my opponent plays anything else. Goes for the Forest, so this is going to be green-blue jump. A deck that I've had tremendous amounts of experience with in recent episodes. But I decided to make a switch because I wasn't making any progress. And there we have it. So we're taking away that active threat. One big thing about blue-green jump, the way it wins is by having active creatures on board that can influence board control. They don't have a lot of influence from hand unless they have enough for Frog Tosser or the Ninja Toad. In this position, Ninja Toad not going to do much. I can Ninja Toad into Frogify, that'd be a massive investment. Doesn't get initiative, and then I just play Axe Grinder. So this is probably the best situation I can be in right now. I feel that my opponent needs a taunt, maybe just go in for like a Shifting Octopus into a power-up, but I can potentially, depending on what the land position is like, take an aggressive mountain next turn. Or I just take double neutral and then wait for and get the mountain next on the following turn when I want to play Axe Grinder. Because this turn I'm probably just going to go for Gift of Steel. It depends actually. I guess it really depends on what my opponent does, because if I can go for a board control line and get a mountain, I'll be in a much better position. So let's say, for example, a creature comes down here, or a creature just comes down here. Shifting Octopus, pretty good. It's a 5/5. So now I can go for the board control line. Gonna go for the power up. Like I said, I felt this was the best play, and my opponent made it. So good stuff. Plays on Gift of Steel. It's pretty good. Now I'm in a very interesting spot. I'm one Faeria off. Well, I can Gift of Steel preemptively. It's pretty dangerous though. I'm not sure if I like it. I'll take this aggressive mountain. I feel like maybe we have to. And just cross our fingers and hope there's not a Frogify. So I'm going to pass now. I could have pre-hit, but then I play into Ninja Toad. So I'm just forcing my opponent to have the Frogify. With no Frogify, I can go to Gift of Steel again. Just finish this guy off. I'd rather draw a Ground Shaker, to be honest, but I won't be able to play it anyway. So maybe Cypher's Wrath. Cypher's Wrath would be a really good draw for me. If there isn't a Frogify, another power-up would actually be pretty scary. Maybe I should have pre-hit the player in second power-up. There's a lot of things I can play around right now. A Ninja Toad, if I go for the pre-hit. Power-up, I would go for the pre-hit. Frogify. There's a Ninja Toad. Goes for the hit, goes for the hit. So now I have enough for Ground Shaker. So Ground Shaker is the best draw for me, best active draw. A second best Cypher's Wrath. If I don't, well, I picked up the Ground Shaker, so now I can just... Now I just probably just finish this off. Cypher's Wrath into Axe Grinder. Cypher's Wrath into Axe Grinder is going to be my play. I want to get a land here. Now, I just need to decide if it's going to be a mountain or a neutral. I think it's going to be a mountain, to be honest. Take Cypher's Wrath. Take the Axe Grinder. I'm in a pretty solid position, actually, because... Well, I don't know. Frog Tosser's pretty good here. Land Frog Tosser is pretty strong. But I still get... If the frog spawns... It doesn't really matter if the frog spawns, actually. Yeah, Frog Tosser. Oh, for Goro. Alright, that's not too bad. Frog Tosser was probably the best line, I think, if it was available. Could you put a creature down on board and then I'm playing catch up again? So I have this. I can do 8. Put my opponent down, and that's 5, 7, 8, 9. So I'm like 2 damage off lethal with these 2 in hand. I could go for a draw. Queen's Guard. Alright, let's do this instead. Just queue up the Axe Grinders. Like, Frog Tosser alone isn't good enough anymore, because I've set up an additional threat going to my opponent's orb. Fagoro could jump over, power up, and clear one of the Axe Grinders. I still get to push another 5 damage to face. I could even Gift of Steel and push 8. And then I just have, like, Flame Burst, Cypher's Wrath like range for lethal. But the one thing when playing against this deck is Ruin's Guidance is a thing. So I need more sustainable damage rather than burst. See if he can Frogify. Overgrown Tower. Pretty nice. I like it. Leaving this on 1 life. Making things difficult. So now Ground Shaker is the best draw. Ground Shaker often being one of the best draws. I get to collect off this well, unless this +1 Frog Tosser. +1 Frog Tosser here is absolutely incredible. Might even consider Frogify. I don't really mind Frogify so much. I just clear this out and then just play Queen's Guard. I still get to collect. But Frog Tosser is a very strong board control play. I'll be at 4 Faeria if this gets killed, and then I can only +1 to 5. So even if I did draw the Ground Shaker, I'd still be in a lot of trouble. Baltoads, okay. It's a tricky one. Definitely is a tricky one. So these two of these can kill a Queen's Guard. But 1 Overgrown Tower on a frog won't be enough to kill the next one. Now what I could do instead, I could go for a board control line. So I could kill this frog, and then I could +1 into Queen's Guard here, just tipping it out of reach of Fagoro. It'd be at, this could go up to a 5/2 Queen's Guard, would be a 3/6. Alternatively, I could go Gift of Steel this turn, punch for 8. Put my opponent on 5, take a draw, and try and draw into that Cypher's Wrath. But if I go for a draw, I go for the Gift of Steel line. If I go for a +1, I go for the Queen's Guard line. I'm not entirely sure. I feel that I should go for the Queen's Guard line, simply because I know my opponent has healing. Like I said, going for a more board control based play here, in anticipation of potential healing that could come up from he could have, like I said, a Guidance, and then my Gift of Steel play would be pretty bad because he would just heal 5. So he'd heal the amount Axe Grinder deals alone, and then I wouldn't be in that lethal range, and I'd be behind on board. So I feel this is the best line. Now it does open me up to Frogify. Frogify is a very strong play here, but my opponent won't be able to do much after it. I'll still be able to +1 into Axe Grinder. Oh, this is really good. So the Frogify, yeah, this works out really well for my opponent, because now I can't even play Mace Man. So I'm banking on a Ground Shaker draw for the follow-up, or I'm banking on a Cypher's Wrath. Imperial Drain's not too bad. Imperial Drain's not too bad. I get to at least starve my opponent of Faeria, but It's looking difficult. But then again, I've played this matchup before on the opposite side of the table as the blue-green jump. It's worked out. It's been pretty good. This is interesting because now I could go for Grim Guard. Go for the Grim Guard. And then that way my opponent needs another power-up. Let's try it. It's looking good. I feel this is a pretty good matchup for blue-green jump. Yellow Rush can be hit or miss because Yellow Rush can snowball really hard. Just based off Kaleem's Prayer Light. Yellow Rush is a matchup where, I think for most decks, where if they draw the nuts, you just don't win. You're just not going to win. It's not going to happen. Whereas Red Rush is a little more honest in some ways. Setting up double collection is very strong here. Oh. Go for the Grand Shaker play next turn. Hopefully the 4/4 decides to jump into double collection, and then we can play the Grand Shaker here, because this can jump this side. So yeah, if the frog jumps here to block my collection, it actually works out for me because I can Grand Shaker on this tile, and that will allow me to kill this frog, and this water elemental will be too far away, which gives the Grand Shaker a good opportunity to push some damage. Put my opponent potentially down to 6. I could Gift of Steel then at that point and then set up Lethal with the Flame Burst. Actually goes for Collection. Okay. Goes for Triton. Yakapult. Not good. That's not good for us at all. Grand Shaker can come down. Grand Shaker would clear. Yakapult hits me. Yeah, this is not a good position. Maybe I should have went for the damage light now. But he did have the heal-in, so I think I played right. I just got bopped by the Frogify. I can Grand Shaker here, I guess. Then force a Yakapult at least, so let's stay out of range of this and +1. At least this way I'm forcing the Yakapult to kill itself. And the +1 is just to make sure that I have a play next turn with a bit of Faeria left over. So I can go for like Brigand if I want, depending on what the water elemental does. The water elemental goes face, and these two just clear this out. Brigand's not bad. Brigand's actually pretty decent. Very much depends if there's a Frogify. If there's a Frogify again, chances are I just lose. Yeah, so the second Frogify there is huge because now I'm in this position where I can't really do anything. I'm just going to get beat up by all these guys. Take a draw. Next Grinder. I can Flame Burst this, but what does it achieve? I can Flame Burst this and Imperial Drain in front of this Yak. But like I said, what does it achieve? It doesn't win me the game. Because I go to 5 Faeria next turn. Maybe I Brigand actually. Maybe I just Brigand and then do that. Go for the Brigand to try and get some Faeria back. Because if Brigand gets killed, I can maybe set up a creature to do some damage on the follow-up. Maybe the Grim Guard. But I'm taking at least 6 damage this turn, minimum. And then the Triton's going to finish off my Brigand. It's interesting. I'm not a big fan of that. I prefer the yak move in here and clearing that and then shoot in my face. Because it puts a creature down there. But I guess it doesn't really matter. Because it's already overcrowded in this area anyway. Shift an octopus. And there's a 5/5. Okay. Face man. I don't have enough damage. I don't have enough Faeria to get a win here. I need to be able to, like, Axe Grinder here, Grimguard to lock this in place. Then I need 6 Faeria to go for Gift Steel Flameburst to finish things off. I could plus... That's going to cost me all my Faeria anyway. This doesn't put me in a very good position. I guess Ground Shaker's not too bad. Cypher's Wrath. Cypher's Wrath this. Then I'm not dead. Yeah, the math doesn't work out here. I need to draw like Flameburst Cyphers to win, but I need 2 draws. Yeah, I think that's just going to be game, guys. So an unfortunate start there, but like I said, I think the blue-green matchup's pretty good against a Red Rush. So I did run into a bad matchup, but we'll get into our next game. Hopefully we'll do a little bit better. Alright guys, another match. Let's keep this. It's pretty good. Oh, Mace Man, that's just what I want to see. We can apply a lot of pressure in the early game now. Stop my opponent from collecting. It's really good. And then go for the gift. Well, go for the Imperial Drain, and we get the Mace Man down. So our opponent is going for Iona's Smile into maybe Air Elemental. Very interesting. I'm probably just going to go explore double neutral Mace Man this turn. I can't see a reason to develop mountains just because of the positioning. Is that saggy? As I go mountain here into Mace Man, if this is Sagittarius, hoping I draw removal, and then for whatever gets played in front of it, and then I can go like explore a mountain and then have an aggressive mountain. This is an interesting one. Yeah. Definitely mountain Mace Man. I don't know actually. 1, 2, 3. Actually could get an aggressive land down. Yeah, let's go for mountain Mace Man. Then we'll pass. Doesn't turn. Very, very fortunate. If this turns, my opponent gets a 2 Faeria advantage from trading these 2 off. Bit risky going for the Mace Man, but in Rush sometimes you just have to take the risks. It's part of the archetypes play style, really. High risk, high reward. So now my opponent has a very interesting decision, because he has to consider going for the turn here. Like I say, just going to play something in front. It's what we expected. So we will take explore into mountain. Gonna move gonna move here. We want to block this. Flame this guy. Clear out. Probably go for drain at this point, because if there is a wind soldier, we don't want it to collect any Faeria. So let's take the drain. And make sure that the Faeria generation is much more difficult for our opponent. We want to starve them out. Well, we'll generate our Faeria back through Queen's Guard as long as it doesn't get choked in sands. Very, very difficult for my opponent right now. Very awkward. I should draw to probably try and turn this just to trade if there's no soul drain. If there is a soul drain, then has a bit more flexibility, I think. But I would still try and turn this to get it down to this position, so it can start pushing 4 damage a turn and forcing me to have removal. But it very much depends on what my opponent has in hand. Might want to build up towards another Manta Rider. Maybe want a +1 to make sure I can get Manta Rider next turn. But you can do that next. Don't have to necessarily do that straight away. So I don't know. It's interesting. Soul Pact. Emissary. So this is a Cypher's Wrath. So I can get rid of this now. And I can +1 into the Queen's Guard. Now my biggest problem is Choking Sands. +1 Choking Sands. Very strong in this position. Wind Soldier's pretty decent as well, but my opponent won't gain initiative from it. I'm just going to concede there, throwing the towel very early on. Too much pressure in the early game, and the fact that that Fairy never turned was a huge problem for my opponent, and one of the weaknesses of the Fairy cards. But I'll take it. We take a win. Let's keep going. Alright guys, another match. Queen's Guard, very good start for us. I'm going to throw away everything else. Whew. What a hand. That is a winning hand if I've ever seen one. It's pretty good. We get to basically just move our lands around how we want them. We can go to double neutral. And we can go like explore mountain or explore double neutral to try and take a mountain spot on the well in the future. Lots of really good options with this hand because of our creatures not needing lands in order to, or special lands at least, to be played. And I can get that Imperial Drain set up nice and early and just use the Queen's Guard as a way to gain my economy back while my opponent is starved. So, very, very good hand. And what will my opponent get up to? It's going to be a desert, actually. Oh, okay. Not going to go for a split, giving me an opportunity, which I am going to take, to push this way. And we will take Queen's Guard in this position as a way to lock this in. So I'm just forcing my opponent to have the answer, have that soul drain, because if not, I can just finish this off next turn or take the orb damage, get my aggressive mountain in this position, and I'm in a pretty good spot. Emperor's Command. Okay. Puts me on 1. I still get good Faeria value out of this, so it's not too bad, really. Now, this is dangerous. Do I try and get double value? I do play into a mobility trick, which would be tough because this would be able to move around and finish this off, but the positioning of the Queen's Guard's pretty good. Could be another Emperor's Command, but I think my opponent would have used it if he had it, so I am actually going to be really greedy and try and get some extra Faeria. Go for the face hit here, force these two to trade off. Again, another Faeria, taking me up to 4, leading me to potentially 8 Faeria on the follow-up. Now, sitting on 8 Faeria as a Red Rush player, going into like turn 4, it's pretty good. Like, I'd be very happy with that. It goes to the Soul Drain. Now, it doesn't punish me too bad, simply because I have the Ground Shaker in hand. Unless there is the mobility trick. Aurora. Okay. So I've been punished on the backswing. Now. Oh boy, what do I do next? Do I double flame burst this? Go for the Imperial Drain? Looks like the best line. It's pretty miserable, all things considered, just because I've just used double flame burst on a creature and not my opponent's orb. But I do starve my opponent out of Faeria. I have a stronger creature on board right now, pushing damage. No one's collecting Faeria. That's fine by me. I can still follow up next turn with a draw and maybe get another play down. And I know exactly what card my opponent just drew. So my opponent can go +1 into 2 of these little mantas. Decides to draw instead. Wow. Okay. Soul Pact. Okay, so it doesn't need it. That's fine. It's gonna take this land now. So let's take a draw. I'll take the Brigand behind. So Mace Man, he's done his job. You know, he's got 2 hits in. I'm pretty happy with that. Air Elemental can trade off with him just fine. More mantas go into my opponent's hand. These are actually very good for my Brigand. Brigand can get tremendous value off it just by clearing out the 2/2s, maybe even 2 for 1. Ground Shaker draws are a bit much. They're a bit clunky at this point, just because I don't have the Faeria. But the hit from the Brigand is going to give me a lot. It's going to let me go forward, and it's going to actually allow me to kill this, which is a big deal. Let's take +1, because I want to be able to play Ground Shaker again next turn, in hopes that this one either collects or this one generates additional Faeria for me. And my opponent didn't play the mantas, just probably because he knew that I'd get so much value off this Brigand. The double flame burst didn't do too bad in the end. Never want to do that as a rush play. Never want to throw this flame burst at anything but face, but yeah, it wasn't bad. A lot of mantas coming down. Can I draw a Cypher's Wrath? No. Okay. So we'll clear this one out. Go for the face hit. And then we could go for a Grimguard, actually. I was thinking of Queensguard, but I think Grimguard's just fine. And then we have it just going to be a concede. I was considering the Gift of Steel there because my opponent needs 2 Last Nightmares. But then we have another victory in the bag, nice and quick. That's the thing about Rush. Getting those quick games in, especially if you get ahead early on. Let's get to our next match. Alright guys, another match. Let's throw these 2 away. Let's keep the drain. Ugh. What is this hand? This is a hand where I'm not doing a lot for a while. Okay, let's double neutral. We can just pass. At least we stop our opponent from collecting Faeria for a few turns. But I really need to draw a creature. I don't even mind what it is at this point. Oh wow, okay. This is pretty good, because we can just do this. Straight into the Queensguard. Right next to his orb, turn 2. We have been saved. Because now my opponent's in a position where my opponent should develop a land here and play a creature that's bigger than the Queensguard. But that was a very quick win. Let's just jump into the next game. Following a very quick game in our last match. On to our next one. We had a very clunky hand in that game, but the Queensguard was just, it was beautiful. And it led to a very quick surrender. This is why I switched to a Rush deck to continue climbing after the last episode of Become a God, because Rush decks, quick matches, most of the time they're quick matches, and you can just draw a hand which is unbeatable. In some cases, depending on the matchup you go against. And it looks like it's going to be a Rush Mirror. Okay. Alright. We get to push 1 land further than our opponent, thanks to the Explore, but our opponent will more than likely have initiative from going first? Goes for a mountain. Alright, I'm going to double neutral. Gonna pass. Take a mountain here into Axe Grinder on our follow-up. Let's see what comes down. It's gonna be a brute. Into another creature? Into a brigand. Alright. We should be able to hit the orb first. That's my hope. And now, unfortunately, Imperial Drain is a little sad against combat creatures. Probably going to stay in my hand for the rest of the game. So a mountain moves down once more. And probably going to pass there unless there's some form of double Cypher's Wrath. So yeah, we are going in, guys. Punch for a lot of damage. And go for that ground shaker. And then pass. So we put our opponent down to 11. If I'm racing a brute, I want to make sure I can win. And at least this way, if my opponent doesn't have a Cypher's Wrath, my opponent has to use Gift of Steel in order to finish off the Axe Grinder, which means Gift of Steel isn't going on the brute, and that's absolutely fine. I'll roll with that. So it looks like there's one Cypher's Wrath. That was a Flame Burst. That's even better. Into a Queen's Guard. I'm gonna hit us for 5, so definitely catching up now. But we are in a very good position. We can take a draw. Ground Shaker. And then we have Lethal at this point. So that is Lethal on board. Our opponent will have to invest some resources into finishing off this Ground Shaker. Probably just developing another creature in this spot. Can the Emperor's Commander heal? Or reduce power? Reduce power. Into Cypher's Wrath. Pretty good. I like it. Alright. Very, very close game already. We get to just taunt this up and see if we can get lethal next turn with this Ground Shaker. Do we have it? I think so, unless it's a taunt, unless it's a Grimguard. It is a Grimguard. That's pretty brutal. So I need to draw a Cypher's Wrath. Gift of Steel. I could Gift of Steel to play around Freedom Fighter? Is that a thing? No, I just trade. And hope he doesn't have Flame Burst. Let's see if he has it. Another Grimguard's actually pretty good here. Oh, ripped off the top. Flame Burst for the win. There we have it. Another quick game. Probably karma for how fast I won the game against the green-blue player. Very fast game. We'll go into one more to finish it off. Yeah, let's see what happens in our final match. Alright, guys. Last game. Can I win it? I'm actually gonna drop this. I don't know, I have kept it in the past. It hasn't really helped me. I just want to find a neutral creature every time. Like, Queen's Guard is such a good opener. Ah, yes, it's the blue-yellow player with the Mantas. Cypher's Wrath going to be pretty solid here, actually. We get to go. We go explore mountain if we want, or we can just double neutral. It's going to be a frog. Grand Shaker. So yeah, let's take... We could take Mountain, actually. Yeah, let's just take a Mountain. I won't use Explore yet. I want to try this out. So, my opponent tries to land block me. I can just go like neutral Mountain and put my Ground Shake in a better position. And now I can use the Ground Shaker plus Flame Burst combo just to kill the Triton altogether. I might play Water Elemental into like Lake and Desert here and jump across, which is pretty good actually. Then I just go Mountain Ground Shaker. Mountain Ground Shaker Flame Burst, like I said before. Maybe even Explore Ciphers and just clear the board. If that is going to be a Water Elemental, I do have a board clear, thanks to the Explore Ciphers wrap. In fact, that's probably the best case scenario for me. My opponent plays Water Elemental and passes, and then I just wipe the board. My opponent loses initiative, and then I have potential 5 damage to face, or I could use the Ground Shaker in a way to clear a threat. Clock is ticking. My opponent taking the time to decide what to do next. Oh, what's going on? Just collect pass? Battletoads, okay. Fair enough. Can still go for the same line. I was just so weak to Frogify, but to be honest, I just have to see if my opponent has it. This one. I mean, I don't really have anything else going on, so I feel I just might as well do this. I don't know which... I don't think it makes any difference which one I do. I guess this one's a bit more out of position. This can't just double neutral collect here and finish me off. So let's kill this guy. And then we can Imperial Drain just in case this little frog decides to go collecting. Because even if there is a Frogify now, at least it resets things a little bit. And if I draw a Mace Man, an Axe Grinder, a Brigand, or a Grimguard, I can at least play that on the follow-up turn. Might be Aurora. Aurora's really strong here. Yeah, Aurora's really strong. Unless I draw another Ground Shaker, then Aurora's still very strong, but not as bad. Goes to the double neutral there. So that's what I was doing. I was making sure he couldn't, like... Because he could have jumped here, collected, and Aurora'd, gaining an extra Faeria, but because I killed this one and left this frog alive, it made the positioning very awkward. Right, we're just going to draw for Ground Shaker. Could play Brigand. Could actually play Brigand here. This can jump down, hit for 6. Yeah, let's just force my opponent to make decisions rather than, oh, and now I can just go face with the 6-1. Now it has to think about the frog. I had Imperial Drain down so he couldn't collect anyway, but let's say I didn't have Imperial Drain. It's just good practice. That's what I'm going to hear in the comments. You had Imperial Drain! It didn't make any difference, but good practice, you know? Jump here, clear, it's fine. I gain a refund. It just lets me Queen's Guard next turn. I essentially paid 1 Faeria to kill this guy. I'll take it. You know, that's a really good trade-off for me. If I draw Ground Shake, I'm in a good position again because I'll be able to kill the Aurora. But ultimately, she doesn't have that much effect unless my opponent has, say, an Aurora's Creation. But I'll be able to play the Imperial Drain again, which basically means that there will be no creation. It's not possible. Big decision now. Yeah, this is a tough one. I want a Ground Shaker. I don't like playing anything into this position. It's a little dangerous. I guess it's not too bad. I guess I could Grimguard here, drain, maybe +1 to line up for Queensguard on the follow-up. Alternatively, I draw and try and find something that can just match this in power, like an Axe Grinder. I guess Emperor's Command is my biggest weakness. Emperor's Command and Frogify. Frogify is not too bad. It's a Faeria trade-off. But Emperor's Command is very good. Alright, let's do it. We're just going to gear up towards Queensguard on the follow-up. Because now my opponent has to +1 into Frogify. Like I said, Emperor's Command is really, really brutal. Ripped off the top. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate there. My opponent pulled that off the top. Another drain. Alright, let's see if you got the Frogify. Don't say you just ripped both Emperor's Command and Frogify off the top of the deck. I'd be very sad if that is the case. Oh, he's got the creation. Oh man, this is not going good, guys. Gets to use Aurora. Yeah, this is probably a loss. I don't see how I win this now. The Emperor's Command was brutal. I would have preferred Frogify in this situation, but yeah, not a lot going on here, unfortunately. I'll play Imperial Drain and we'll play it out. We'll see if we can pick anything up, but I doubt it very much. I need a Flame Burst this and play a creature and hope my opponent does have Frogify again. The chances of me doing that are very unlikely, which is really a shame because I played this deck to try and accelerate my rank, and I'm once again stuck at rank 2. Maybe I'm destined to be rank 2 this season. I'd be pretty sad if that is the case, but I don't know. Maybe I have to go deeper into the dark side and head towards the Yellow Rush. There's a lot of blue about it at the moment. It's one thing I've learned in these last 2 episodes. If you're in my rank area, there's a lot of blue, so take that into consideration. You might just be better off playing mid-range red or just playing combat red and getting access to Firestorms. So gearing up for the Dream Reaver, I'm not drawing this Flame Burst, but it's getting to a point now where it's not making too much of a difference. I mean, I got Ground Shaker Ciphers, it's pretty good. It's not great. It's going to give me a fighting chance, but these 2 guys can just run into this and set up the Dream Reaver. There's not a lot I can do against the Dream Reaver's Red Rush. The creation, the Emperor's Command followed by the creation on the Aurora gave my opponent so much time that I haven't been able to apply pressure over 2 to 3 turns, which has given my opponent the breathing room to just play lands, play some creatures, have a bit of fun, and set up this Dream Reaver. Not good for me. Opponent's thinking about it. Maybe there isn't a Dream Reaver yet. Maybe there isn't a Frog. If there's a Frogify, I will be the saddest person. Because Frogify cleared this with the 4-2 and then double collect. Leading up to potential tri-collection is the saddest thing. But if I do top deck a Ground Shaker, I can +1 Ground Shaker here. And I'll be able to kill this Frog, and this Water Elemental will be out of position. But yeah, I've already used 2 Ground Shakers. What's the chances of me drawing my last one in 15 cards? 1 in 15. Very, very slim. Oh wow, okay. Another water elemental. This is interesting because both these water elementals are in reach of my Ground Shaker. Now, even if I was to move Ground Shaker here, I still have the problem of water elemental being able to clear it. Now, Queen's Guard could set up... It could set up an interesting board position. I can take it here and lock this in and just accept the fate of... Oh, well, actually, this can still jump here. So yeah, I can just accept the fate of my Ground Shaker, or I can stick it here, and then these guys might have to run into this and give me some extra Faeria. So, in conclusion, I think Queen's Guard is decent here, but my opponent is on 11 Faeria, handful of cards, try collecting. It's not looking good. One Frogify, he's one Frogify away from winning the game at this point. Now, as long as one creature lives, or at least as long as the Queen's Guard takes some hits, so I can gain some Faeria back, I'm okay. But I do need a creature to live in the ideal world. Just command, Roar's Trick, and then just clear out the Ground Shaker, and that's just going to be game. You can clear out the Ground Shaker with... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's just game, guys. I'm just going to throw in the towel. No way I'm going to race a library at this point. Especially if there's more healing. It's looking very bleak already, but there we have it. Red Rush is not doing the work I wanted it. Maybe I should have stuck to jump. A little unfortunate, but hopefully next week we can pick it back up again. Get towards that God rank. An unsuccessful week for me on Become a God. Very unfortunate. Wasn't even able to climb. I've been stuck at 2 for a while now. So this competition has definitely picked up in Faeria recently. If you see any plays throughout the last 2 videos which you think are a bit funny and you'd like to point them out, feel free to. I'm always curious to see what I've done wrong, or any different lines that you guys think of that may have made things easier for me, or even secured me a win. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, drop a subscribe to keep up to date when our content goes live. I hope you guys enjoy tomorrow's Will It Work. It's going to be a lot of fun. It was a mixed experience, I must admit, but it's cool that Camisource messaged me with the deck and made me remember that this deck existed once upon a time, and I've made a new version of it. And feel free to give me any suggestions or anything like that, because I'd like to refine this list a little bit. And if you guys want to make some changes, maybe you feel that my decisions as far as the deck building go haven't been that good, like always, drop a comment, let me know. So until next time, guys, take care and enjoy Red Rush.